You turned our vows into tools for your betrayal! No! No!
The luxury hotel receipt fell from Trina's gym bag like a confession written in corporate letterhead. Adam Vale held it between calloused fingers, squinting at the numbers that made his stomach drop. 4 nights, presidential suite, room 421. The dates matched her fitness retreat perfectly. His wife of 18 years didn't even try to hide it well. "Dad," Sierra appeared in the kitchen doorway, backpack slung over her shoulder. "Mom's already gone." "She said you'd drive me to school." Adam folded the receipt and slipped it into his work shirt pocket. "Yeah, kiddo. Give me 5 minutes." The sanitation truck idled outside, Joey Russo already behind the wheel, tapping his wedding ring against the steering wheel in that nervous way he had since getting out of county lockup. 3 years clean, 2 years divorced, and still jumpy as heck. "You look like someone pissed in your coffee," Joey said as Adam climbed into the passenger seat. "Something like that." They drove their route in silence until Joey couldn't stand it anymore. "Your trophy wife giving you grief again?" Adam almost laughed. Trophy wife. That's what Joey called Trina, though he'd seen through her years ago. Most people did eventually, except Adam. He'd been the last to know, apparently. "Joey, you ever been to the Oceantide Hotel? That fancy place downtown?" "Heck no. Why?" Adam pulled out the receipt. Joey whistled low. "Crap, brother. Your wife's either winning the lottery or—" "Yeah. You sure about this?" Adam folded the receipt again, studying the printed details. The room number was burned into his retinas now. 421. "I'm sure." They finished the route in record time. Joey dropped Adam at his truck, a battered Chevy that Trina constantly complained about. "You want backup?" "For what?" "For whatever you're planning to do with that receipt." Adam started the engine. "I'm just going to ask her about it," Joey snorted. "Right, call me when you need bail money." The Oceantide Hotel smelled like money and lies. Adam had never been inside before, but he could see why Trina chose it. Everything was marble and gold accents, the kind of place that made sanitation workers feel like intruders just by existing. The elevator climbed to the 4th floor with a whisper. Adam's heart hammered against his ribs as he walked down the carpeted hallway, following the brass room numbers. 417, 419, 421. He pressed his ear to the door. The sounds inside made his vision blur red. His wife's voice, breathless and eager in a way she hadn't been with him in years. A man's voice, commanding and confident. Adam tried the door handle, unlocked. The presidential suite was everything the receipt promised. Floor-to-ceiling windows, king-sized bed with Egyptian cotton sheets, champagne bucket on ice. And his wife, naked and tangled with a man Adam didn't recognize. Dark hair, expensive watch, the kind of confident smile that belonged to someone who'd never doubted his place in the world. "What the heck?" the man started. Trina screamed. Not from surprise, from anger at Adam. "How dare you? Get out! Get out!" The man, Leo, according to the hotel bathrobe hanging nearby, scrambled for his pants. "Look, pal, I think there's been a misunderstanding." Adam's fist connected with Leo's jaw before the words finished forming. Leo stumbled backward, caught the edge of the champagne bucket, and they both went down in a tangle of limbs and ice cubes. It wasn't like the movies. There was no choreography, no clever one-liners. Just 2 middle-aged men rolling around on marble tiles, throwing awkward punches and grunting like animals. "Stop it!" Trina shrieked. "Someone call security!" Leo managed to scramble away, holding his shoulder. "You're insane!" "I'm calling the police." "Call them," Adam gasped. "I'd love to hear you explain this." But Leo was already on his phone, and hotel security arrived within minutes. 2 guards who looked like former bouncers, followed by Baltimore PD. Adam found himself face down on the marble floor, hands zip-tied behind his back. "He attacked us." Trina had thrown on Leo's shirt, playing the victim perfectly. "He broke in here and assaulted my friend." "Friend?" Adam laughed, tasting copper. "Is that what we're calling it?" The cops weren't interested in marital drama. They saw a sanitation worker in a luxury hotel suite and drew their own conclusions. Adam spent the night in a downtown holding cell, listening to drunks and dealers complain about their lot in life. He fit right in. The rain started just as Adam walked out of the police station. His truck was still in the hotel parking lot, but that seemed like the least of his problems. When he pulled into his own driveway 6 hours later, the locks had been changed. His house key turned in empty air. A note was taped to the front door in Trina's flowing handwriting. Adam, your behavior last night was unacceptable and dangerous. I've filed for a restraining order. Do not contact me. Do not come here. I've called my attorney. T. Adam sat in his truck for 20 minutes, watching neighbors peek through their curtains. The Hendersons next door had their morning coffee and a front row seat to his humiliation. He could already imagine the phone calls spreading through the neighborhood like wildfire. His phone buzzed. Joey. Heard you made the morning news, brother. What? Local news picked up the police blotter. Sanitation worker arrested in hotel assault. They didn't name you, but anyone with half a brain can figure it out. Adam leaned his forehead against the steering wheel. I'm screwed. Maybe. Or maybe you're finally awake. Joey pulled up 20 minutes later with a bag of clothes and a gas station sandwich. You can crash at my place until you figure this out. I can't. Yes, you can, and you will. Because sitting in your truck feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to fix anything. They drove to Joey's apartment in silence. It wasn't much. A one-bedroom above a laundromat, but it was clean and honest. No marble floors or Egyptian cotton lies. You want to talk about it? Joey asked, cracking open 2 beers. Adam pulled out the hotel receipt. Look at the back. Joey flipped it over. In small print at the bottom was Leo's full name, Leonardo Drummond, and what looked like some kind of member code. So now I know who he is. And what are you going to do with that information? Adam took a long pull of his beer. I have no idea. The Baltimore Public Library had computers and internet access for free. Adam had never considered himself good with technology, but desperation was a powerful teacher. Within 2 hours, he'd learned more about Leonardo Drummond than Leo probably remembered about himself. Age 41, hotel manager at 3 locations, including the Ocean Tide. Divorced twice, no kids. Owned a condo downtown, a beach house in Rehoboth, and 2 rental properties in the suburbs. Clean credit, multiple business partnerships, and a trail of civil lawsuits from former employees claiming harassment. Interesting reading? Adam looked up to find Joey standing behind him with 2 cups of coffee. Guy's a serial philanderer, Adam said. This isn't his first time. No surprise there. What's the plan? I don't have a plan. I just want to understand what I'm dealing with. Joey sat down at the next computer. You mind if I do some digging of my own? Go ahead. Joey's fingers moved across the keyboard with surprising skill. You learn a lot in county lockup, he explained, including how to find public records. 10 minutes later, Joey whistled. Your boy Leo's got some interesting business partnerships. Look at this. The screen showed a property deed. One of Leo's rental houses was co-signed by someone named Patricia Marsh. The address was familiar. It was where Trina's sister lived. Small world, Adam muttered. Gets smaller. Look at this. Another document. A business license for Wellness Coaching Solutions, LLC. Partners, Trina Vale and Patricia Marsh. Incorporated 6 months ago. Adam stared at the screen. She started a business? With your money, I'm betting. You pay the household bills, right? Frees up her income stream for side projects. And sidemen. That too. Adam printed everything. The paper trail told a story of planning and deception that went back months, maybe years. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment affair. This was a long-term strategy. You know what this means? Joey asked as they walked back to his truck. That I'm an idiot? That she's been planning to leave you for a while. Which means she's been sloppy. People who plan that far ahead usually leave evidence. Adam's phone buzzed. A text from Sierra. Dad, can we talk? Meet me at Mario's diner after school? My daughter wants to see me. Joey nodded. Good. These kids see everything adults think they're hiding. Sierra looked older than 17, sitting in the corner booth at Mario's diner. She'd inherited Adam's dark eyes and stubborn chin, but her mother's ability to keep secrets. Until now. Dad, I need to tell you something. Adam slid into the opposite seat. Shoot. Mom's been talking to her friends about you. Saying things. What kind of things? Sierra pulled out her phone. She didn't know I could hear her calls. But sound carries in our house. She played a voice memo. Trina's voice came through the speaker, sharp and dismissive. Adam's so pathetic. He thinks this marriage still means something. I'm just waiting for the right moment to pull the trigger. Adam's coffee turned to acid in his stomach. There's more, Sierra said. She scrolled through her phone. I found her old phone in the laundry room. The one she said was broken. Another voice memo. Trina and Leo, their voices intimate and conspiratorial. He'll never see it coming. 18 years of marriage and he still thinks I'm faithful. It's almost sad. Leo's voice. When are you going to tell him? I'm not. I'm going to make him find out. Let him think it's his fault somehow. Easier that way. Adam set down his coffee cup with shaking hands. How long have you known? About Leo? 3 months. About Mom planning to leave you? Longer? Why didn't you tell me? Sierra's eyes filled with tears. Because I hoped I was wrong. Because I wanted to believe Mom wouldn't really do this to you. To us. They sat in silence for a moment. Around them, the diner hummed with normal life. Families having dinner, teenagers on dates, old men arguing about sports. Adam felt like he was watching it all through bulletproof glass. What are you going to do? Sierra asked. I don't know. Whatever it is, I want to help. Adam looked at his daughter, really looked at her. When had she become so grown up? When had she started seeing the world clearly while he'd been stumbling around blind? I might not be the good guy in this story, he warned. Mom stopped being the good guy a long time ago. Adam spent 2 days thinking about what Sierra had shown him. 2 days of sleeping on Joey's couch, ignoring calls from Trina's lawyer, and staring at the evidence spread across the coffee table like pieces of a puzzle. The voice recordings, the business documents, the hotel receipts, because there had been more than one, Sierra discovered. A whole paper trail of betrayal and calculation. You're going to sit on this forever? Joey asked on the third morning. I'm thinking. Think faster. Every day you wait is another day she controls the narrative. Joey was right. By now, half the neighborhood probably thought Adam was an offensive husband who'd snapped and attacked his wife's innocent friend. The other half were just waiting for more gossip. Adam made his decision over instant coffee and stale donuts. I need to borrow your computer. What for? To tell the truth. The email list was easy to compile. Trina's family, her business partners, her social media followers, all the people she'd been performing for over the years. Adam wrote a simple message. I'm attaching some audio files I think you should hear. Make your own judgments. Adam Vale. No accusations, no explanations, just evidence. He hit send and waited. The response was immediate. His phone started buzzing within minutes. Trina's sister Patricia called first. Adam, what the heck is this? What does it sound like? It sounds like my sister destroying her marriage for some hotel manager. That's exactly what it is. Patricia was quiet for a long moment. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was this bad. Neither did I. One by one, the calls came in. Trina's workout partners, her book club friends, even her mother. Some were supportive. Others just wanted gossip. All of them had heard Trina's voice on those recordings, casual and cruel in a way that couldn't be explained away. Adam's phone rang. Trina screaming before he could say hello. How dare you? Those are private conversations. Private. You were planning my humiliation in our own house. You had no right. I had every right. You want to destroy our marriage? Fine. But you don't get to control how the story gets told. She hung up. 20 minutes later, Joey got a call from his cousin who worked at the hotel. Your boy Leo just got suspended pending investigation. Apparently, someone sent those audio files to his boss too. Adam felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Satisfaction. Adam was eating breakfast at Joey's when Sierra called. Dad, something's wrong with Mom. What do you mean? She collapsed at the hotel. They took her to the hospital. Adam found himself running red lights to get to Baltimore General, Joey riding shotgun and muttering about cardiac events and stress-induced medical emergencies. They arrived to find Sierra in the waiting room, looking scared and younger than her 17 years. The doctors say it's some kind of stroke, she explained, but not a regular one. Something about blood vessels in her brain spasming from stress. Is she going to be okay? They don't know. Her right side is paralyzed. Adam stared through the window at his wife lying in the hospital bed, suddenly small and fragile under the harsh fluorescent lights. Machines beeped around her, monitoring vital signs that had been failing under the weight of her own deceptions. This isn't your fault, Sierra said, reading his expression. isn't it? No, she did this to herself. Leo showed up an hour later, looking haggard and desperate. He tried to enter Trina's room, but was stopped by a nurse who explained that only family members were allowed during visiting hours. I'm her partner, Leo protested. Are you her husband? The nurse asked. Leo's eyes found Adam across the waiting room. No. Then you'll have to wait. Adam watched Leo pace the hallway like a caged animal. Without Trina conscious to direct the narrative, Leo looked lost, uncertain. The confident hotel manager was gone, replaced by a middle-aged man realizing he'd been playing a game with real consequences. Dad? Sierra touched his arm. The doctor wants to talk to you. Dr. Williams was a tired-looking woman in her 50s who'd probably delivered bad news to thousands of families. Mr. Vale, your wife's condition is stable but serious. The vasospasm has caused temporary paralysis on her right side. With therapy, she may regain most function, but recovery will take months, possibly years. What caused it? Extreme stress can trigger these episodes. Has your wife been under unusual pressure lately? Adam almost laughed. You could say that. We'll need to discuss long-term care options, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. The insurance situation is complicated. How complicated? Well, Mrs. Vale isn't listed as the primary on your policy. You are, which means any major medical decisions will require your authorization. Adam felt the ground shift beneath his feet. All those insurance forms he'd signed over the years, all the paperwork Trina had handed him without explanation. She'd been so focused on planning her exit strategy that she'd forgotten about the safety net he'd been providing all along. The divorce papers arrived by courier while Adam was visiting Trina in the hospital. She couldn't speak clearly yet, but her eyes tracked him as he entered the room. Hello, Trina. She tried to say something. It came out as a garbled whisper. I got your lawyer's papers, Adam continued, settling into the bedside chair. Interesting reading. You're asking for half of everything, spousal support and exclusive use of the house. Trina's left hand clenched into a fist. The thing is, I've been doing some paperwork of my own. Turns out that business you started with your sister, the one you funded with money from our joint accounts, that's going to be a problem. He pulled out a folder. I've also been talking to a lawyer, free consultation down at Legal Aid. Learned some interesting things about Maryland divorce law. Adam opened the folder and showed her the first document. This is a forensic accounting report. Shows exactly where our money went over the past 2 years. Thousands of dollars transferred to your business account. Dozens of charges at high-end hotels and restaurants. All while I was paying the mortgage, utilities, and insurance? Trina's eyes widened. Here's the thing about adultery in Maryland, Adam continued. It affects property division, especially when marital assets were used to support the affair. He showed her another document. And then there's this. Remember all those insurance forms you had me sign? The ones where you said I needed to be the primary because of my employer coverage? Well, that means I get to make medical decisions if you're incapacitated. Trina tried to sit up, panic flashing across her face. Relax. I'm not going to pull the plug or anything, but I am going to make sure you get exactly the level of care your behavior has earned. Adam stood up. Your boyfriend Leo was here yesterday. Did you know he's been suspended from his job? Something about inappropriate relationships with guests. Apparently the hotel takes that kind of thing seriously. He walked toward the door, then paused. Oh, and Trina? I'm keeping the house. 3 weeks after Trina's stroke, Leo was waiting in the hospital parking lot when Adam left physical therapy visiting hours. We need to talk, Leo said. No, we don't. You think you're so smart, don't you? Leo stepped closer and Adam could smell alcohol on his breath. Playing the victim, manipulating everyone. Manipulating? Adam laughed. I just told the truth. You destroyed my career, my reputation. You did that yourself when you decided to sleep with my wife. Leo's punch was telegraphed and sloppy. Adam sidestepped it easily, grabbed Leo's wrist, and used his momentum to slam him face first into the side of a parked car. The car mirror shattered against Leo's nose with a satisfying crunch. You broke my nose, Leo gasped. You broke my marriage. 2 men emerged from a nearby SUV, friends of Leo's by their matching gym clothes and aggressive postures. They started toward Adam with the confidence of people who'd never been in a real fight. Adam had been training at Joey's boxing gym for 3 weeks. Nothing fancy, just basic combinations and footwork, but it was enough. The first guy swung wild and high. Adam ducked under, came up with an uppercut to the solar plexus that dropped him like a sack of cement. The second guy hesitated just long enough for Joey to appear out of nowhere with a tire iron. Problem here? Joey asked. The second guy suddenly remembered he had somewhere else to be. Leo was still leaning against the car, holding his nose. This isn't over. Yes, it is, Adam said. Your hotel suspended you. Trina's in rehabilitation. Your little party is finished. I'll sue you for assault. Adam gestured toward the hospital security cameras. Go ahead. I'm sure they recorded you throwing the first punch. Leo stumbled away, his friends helping him toward their SUV. Adam watched them leave, feeling oddly calm. Nice right hook, Joey observed. Thanks. How did you know to show up? Sierra called me. Said she was worried about you. Adam looked up at the hospital windows, wondering if his daughter was watching. She'd been worried about him? When had he become someone worth worrying about? The confrontation might have ended there, but Leo made a critical mistake. Instead of quietly licking his wounds, he decided to fight back through social media. His Instagram post went live the next morning, a photo of his bandaged nose accompanied by a long caption about psychotic husbands and unprovoked attacks. He tagged the hotel, several local businesses, and even Trina's personal account. It backfired spectacularly. Within hours, the comment section filled with people who'd heard Trina's leaked audio recordings. They posted screenshots of her voice messages, shared stories about Leo's inappropriate behavior at the hotel, and dissected every detail of the affair with the ruthless efficiency of the internet. Someone created a TikTok using Trina's voice saying, he thinks this marriage still means something, over a video of sad-looking husbands. It got 2 million views in 24 hours. Adam watched the digital wildfire spread from Joey's laptop, fascinated and horrified in equal measure. This is insane, he muttered. This is justice, Joey corrected. 20 years ago, guys like Leo could destroy marriages and move on to the next victim. Now, everything's permanent. Adam's phone rang. A reporter from the Baltimore Sun wanted to interview him about the viral adultery case. He declined. Another call, a producer from a daytime talk show, declined. A literary agent who specialized in true crime memoirs, declined. You know you could make money off this, Joey pointed out. I don't want money. I want my life back. Then stop answering the phone and let them move on to the next scandal. But the scandal had legs. Leo's hotel fired him completely after the social media disaster. Trina's fitness influencer sponsors dropped her. Even the rehabilitation center, where she was staying, asked Adam to consider alternative arrangements due to the media attention. Adam found himself in an impossible position, the reluctant center of a story he'd never wanted to tell. Sierra's solution came from an unexpected source, her high school's annual student speech competition. The theme was truth and consequences, and she'd been selected to represent her class. I want to talk about betrayal, she told Adam over dinner at Mario's diner. Not naming names, but talking about what happens when people choose selfishness over family. That's a heavy topic for a school speech. It's a heavy topic for a family. Adam watched his daughter organize her thoughts, scribbling notes on napkins. When did she become so articulate, so focused? What's your point going to be? That truth always comes out eventually. And when it does, the people who were honest from the beginning are the ones left standing. The speech competition was held in the school auditorium on a Thursday evening. Adam sat in the back, trying to be invisible, but recognizing several neighbors and family friends in the audience. Word had gotten around about Sierra's topic. When her turn came, Sierra walked to the podium with quiet confidence. She looked out at the audience for a moment, then began, My generation gets called a lot of things. Entitled, naive, idealistic. But there's one thing we understand better than most adults. The internet is forever. She talked about truth in the digital age, about how secrets became impossible to keep when everyone carried cameras and recording devices. She discussed the difference between privacy and deception, between protecting family and enabling destruction. She never mentioned names, never gave specific details, but everyone in the audience knew exactly what she was talking about. When adults choose betrayal over honesty, she concluded, they're not just hurting their partners. They're teaching their children that love is conditional, that commitment is negotiable, and that family is just another word for convenience. The applause was thunderous. Adam found himself wiping away tears he hadn't realized were falling. Afterward, Sierra found him in the parking lot. How did I do? You were perfect. Think Mom would be proud? Adam considered the question. The old Trina, the woman he'd married 18 years ago, would have been proud. The recent Trina, the one lying in a rehabilitation bed after a stress-induced stroke, might have been too self-absorbed to notice. The part of your mother that's worth being proud of? Yeah, she would be. The divorce mediation took place in a sterile conference room downtown. Trina attended via video call from her rehabilitation facility, her speech still slurred but understandable. Leo was notably absent. Trina's lawyer, a sharp-dressed woman named Patricia Kane, laid out their demands: half the house value, half of Adam's pension, and 5 years of spousal support. Adam's legal aid attorney, a tired-looking man named David Park, countered with the forensic accounting report and a thick folder of evidence. Mrs. Vale used marital assets to fund an extramarital affair, Park explained. Under Maryland law, this constitutes marital misconduct that affects property distribution. Kane wasn't impressed. My client's medical condition is a direct result of her husband's harassment campaign. Harassment? Park pulled out his phone. You mean sharing evidence of adultery with mutual friends and family? That's called telling the truth. The mediation lasted 3 hours. In the end, Trina walked away with her personal belongings, her car, once Adam resumed payments, and enough money to cover her rehabilitation costs. Adam kept the house, his pension, and most importantly, primary custody of Sierra. This isn't fair, Trina whispered through the video link, tears streaming down her face. Fair? Adam leaned toward the camera. You plan to humiliate me, steal half my assets, and abandon our daughter for a man who dumped you the minute things got complicated. This is more than fair. This is mercy. After the lawyers left, Adam sat alone in the conference room for 20 minutes, trying to process what had just happened. 18 years of marriage, reduced to a legal document and a property settlement. His phone buzzed. A text from Sierra. How did it go? It's over, he replied. Good. Joey's making dinner. Come home. Home. Joey's apartment had become home somewhere along the way. Not forever, but for now. A place where people told the truth and looked out for each other. Adam gathered his paperwork and headed for the door. Outside, Baltimore hummed with its usual chaos of traffic and construction and people living their complicated lives. Somewhere in the city, Leo was probably planning his next move, his next victim. Somewhere else, Trina was learning to walk again, to speak clearly, to live with the consequences of her choices. But Adam wasn't responsible for their futures anymore. For the first time in years, he was only responsible for his own. 6 months later, Adam was replacing the kitchen sink in his house now, legally and permanently, when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, he saw Trina standing on his front porch. She looked different, thinner, obviously, and her right arm still hung awkwardly at her side. But there was something else, a desperate edge to her posture that hadn't been there before. What do you want, Trina? We need to talk. We talked, in mediation, through lawyers. Please, 5 minutes. Against his better judgment, Adam opened the door. Trina walked into the living room she'd once redecorated 3 times, looking around like a tourist in a foreign country. The place looks good, she said. Thanks. I heard you're dating someone. Adam didn't respond. His personal life wasn't her business anymore. Listen, Trina continued, I know things got complicated between us. Complicated? Adam laughed. You systematically destroyed our marriage while planning to take me for everything I owned. That's not complicated. That's calculated. I made mistakes. You made choices. There's a difference. Trina's facade cracked slightly. I lost everything, Adam. My business, my sponsors, my reputation. Leo won't even return my calls. What did you expect? That he'd stick around after you became a liability? I expected, I don't know. I thought people would understand that marriages sometimes just don't work out. Marriages don't work out. Adultery is a choice. They stood in silence for a moment. Outside, Adam could hear his neighbors, the Hendersons, working in their garden. living their normal, honest lives. "What do you want?" Adam asked again. "I want to come home." The words hung in the air like smoke. Adam stared at his ex-wife, this woman who'd shared his bed for 18 years, who'd given birth to his daughter, who'd planned his humiliation with clinical precision. "Home," he repeated. "We could try again. Go to counseling. I'm different now. You're different because you got caught, and because your boyfriend abandoned you. And because nobody wants to sponsor a fitness influencer who can barely use her right arm." Trina's face flushed. "That's cruel." "It's honest. Something you might want to try sometime." "I'm trying to apologize." "No, you're not. You're trying to find someone to take care of you now that your exit strategy fell apart." Trina's composure finally shattered completely. "You smug son of a witch. You think you won? You think destroying my life makes you the good guy? I didn't destroy your life. I just stopped protecting you from the consequences of your choices. I gave you 18 years. You gave me 18 years of lies. And I gave you 18 years of loyalty you never deserved." Trina lunged at him, her left hand swinging wildly. Adam caught her wrist easily, held it steady until the rage left her eyes. "I could have taken everything," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "If I'd been smarter about it, if I'd planned better. But you didn't." "Because people who think they're smarter than everyone else usually aren't as smart as they think." Adam released her wrist and walked to the front door. "You need to leave now. Please. Sierra's coming home from school in an hour." "She doesn't need to see this." Trina gathered herself with visible effort, wiping her eyes and straightening her clothes. At the door, she turned back one last time. "You'll regret this. When you're old and alone, you'll remember that I tried to come back." Adam considered this. "Maybe. But I'd rather be alone with my dignity than together with your lies." He watched her walk to her car, a modest sedan now, nothing like the luxury SUV she'd driven during their marriage. She fumbled with the keys, her damaged right hand making simple tasks difficult. As she drove away, Adam felt something unexpected: pity. Not enough to change his mind, but enough to remind him that they'd once loved each other, before ambition and entitlement had poisoned everything. His phone buzzed, a text from Sierra. "On my way home. Joey's coming for dinner. Hope you're making something better than last week's disaster." Adam smiled and headed back to the kitchen. The sink still needed fixing. Joey would probably bring beer and terrible jokes, and Sierra would complain about her calculus homework. Normal problems. Honest problems. The kind of problems that didn't require lawyers or mediation or recording devices to solve. He picked up his wrench and got back to work. Outside, Baltimore hummed with its usual chaos. But inside his house, everything was finally quiet.